tell we're in the heat of August, man. The dog days of summer. It's hot as hell, and it seems like people were hot as hell the other day. Got a lot of heat yesterday from a video that my partner Jonathan Lewis did while I was out and about. Although I'm not going to lie, I did not discourage him from doing it. But we're going to talk about a few topics today. I'm going to give everybody a chance to get up in here first. We're going to talk about con-time Deion Sanders and how he's been slammed by numerous people, from Mike Farrell to even slammed by, who was it? Jason Whitlock even got a hold of him, as well as Charleston White went on Cam Newton's podcast and had a few choice words for him. I'm not going to play that clip in its entirety because it's got a lot of vulgarity in it. It'll probably get me shut down. But I will just play a small 2 or 3 second snippet where he basically calls out Deion Sanders as being the jackass that he is. But yesterday, while I was gone, it seemed like there was a little video that Jonathan put out. He was just giving y'all the devil's advocate point of view about how some of the people from the outside might see the Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma situation on the flip side of that. And he wasn't really grilling, but he was just like giving y'all some facts and why people say some of the things they say. And y'all turned on him pretty quick. It turned on me too. Hell, we had a few unsubscribers to the channel. About 7 or 8, maybe 9 or 10. But the hell with it. Let's go ahead and bring Jonathan in here because I know he's in the backdrop here and he's probably tired of hearing me talk about it. So here we go.
How's it going?
Jonathan Lewis, you stepped in a pile of big old Sooner poo-poo the other day, didn't you?
I guess so. I guess having a difference of opinion really makes you unpopular in this Oklahoma fan base. I'm not going to say all of them because shout out to the supporters, by the way. Had a few people actually message me, and then a couple of people on the community board supporting a fair assessment across the board, as most of them said. So, yeah, but yeah, I mean, this is coming from a non-biased point of view, using factual information that anybody can be found. And, you know, I don't know what else to say other than that, like I said,
I told you that title's what got him going. About the
I didn't think about it. I wasn't thinking about it from that way. So JBC brought up two things, and I didn't catch it. Was the title, and then, but look, guys, you're coming to the SEC. Where Tennessee and Vanderbilt fans are going to be coming on your forums and trying to destroy you, much less somebody just stating like records and recruiting information. So if you can't handle something as simple as that, cry me a river, I guess. I don't know what else to say.
Well, I got to warn them, man. It's going to be every week. Even, like you said, even the Vanderbilts, even our lower dregs of our conference. It's not like Baylor and Kansas State, who are mid-card teams and sometimes they'll have an occasional 10-win season. Them programs, they don't have fans that are as passionate as the mid-carders in our conference right now. When Oklahoma plays Tennessee, for example, the whole week before that game, y'all going to notice that the Oklahoma boards suspiciously have what you would call in Republican terms as rhinos. They're going to come in your form and pose as Oklahoma fans. And come in there and they're just going to be like, and they're going to be going off, and they're going to be starting shit with you. Now, if y'all beat Tennessee, you got nothing to worry about. If you do lose to them, they're probably going to give you hell for 2 or 3 more weeks. So my advice is beat Tennessee. Then after you play them, you play Auburn. Even if you beat Tennessee, those Auburn barn monkeys, they're going to come in your form, and they're going to invade it.
Same thing.
They're going to invade all your chat rooms. They're going to pose as Oklahoma fans. So all we're doing here is trying to, get y'all ready for what's coming. Sort of like a scrimmage.
I think the Oklahoma fans took it as me saying Lincoln was better than Brent Venables. And look, as an outside source, trying to be unbiased here, guys, yeah, if I'm statistically looking at this thing, I am saying that so far that is the case, right? So, and I get it, and I understand that the situation, once again, was much betterly, handed over to Lincoln Riley from Bob Stoops. It was handed to him, right? He was groomed for the position. I understand that. And he didn't, when Bob Stoops left, it wasn't like he took, the starting quarterback and everything else. But the reality of the situation is coaches deal with this all the time. There's no special situation. This isn't an exception. This is just what normally happens. So, I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, people even wanted to argue the whole record break, like to tell me that Lincoln Riley did not break Switzer's and Fairfield's 12 game, you know what I mean, win in his first year. Like, he won 12 games. He broke the record. Like, you can't argue stats at that point. I'm sorry, like, but
all you was doing was giving devil's advocate point of view and try to give everybody a little insight to what's being said on the flip side of it, and to give you to just get to see if I'm feeling what you're saying here. Basically, you're not saying that Lincoln Riley's a better coach than Brent.
No, I'm not saying that. Absolutely not. What I was doing was just taking one side of the coin and just flipping it over, but they didn't take it that way. They took it because the title. The title was kind of my fault on that one. I guess the title could have been done better, but guys, I'm not here to pamper fans. I'm not. You're not my 5-year-old or 4-year-old son, right? I'm not changing your damn diaper. Like, let's be real for a minute. Like, you know what I mean? So
actually took the time to unsubscribe. I mean, is that not the biggest crybaby wet diaper shit
what I'm talking about?
Man, I mean, I think they might have rashed up, man. You might have caused a few people to catch a rash.
Has your channel ever experienced that before, where you've had that big of a reaction?
Already experienced some of it and dropped down from 70 to 67 when I said that.
Oh. But I'm talking about like unsubscribers. Like, I have nothing against Oklahoma. I like Oklahoma, but I love Alabama. I'm still critical of Alabama, and I'm still going to look at the stats and everything along with it. Like, it doesn't change the fact that this is what it is, right? It's just an opinion. Yeah. And if you can't handle somebody's opinion, some lowly YouTuber opinion that has no say, good luck when the Tennessee forums start.
I wouldn't say we were lowly.
You get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying, though, man. Like, I can only imagine what these Facebook groups are going to look like. As Alabama fans, we've seen this for years. Tennessee and Auburn have brutal fans, right? They're going to make fake accounts. They're going to make you think they're the biggest Oklahoma fans possible. And when that game starts, they're going to crush that group. That's how that works. They'll literally get people to start unfollowing the pages. They'll get people to start leaving the groups. Why? Because they'll pose as an Oklahoma fan, right? And they'll start saying dumb stuff about the group acting as a moderator. I've seen it all too often.
Let's grab a few comments. We got Mary Caroline in the house. Good to see you in here, Mary Caroline. She just wanted to holler at us. Zach Hamner's in the house. He's got his badge. He's deputized. And you want to be badged? You want to be badged up and deputized and be in the posse and not desert us like some people did? You just hit that join button, next subscribe button. It's $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. That's just a half a bottle of water in these Bidenomics, as Jonathan so aptly pointed out. And you'll be in the Outlaw Posse. Get a random Four Horseman shout out on the actual podcast, as well as possibly the comment of the day. Zach Hamner says, like I've said, Oklahoma has a lot to prove and take respect from people on the field. People need to be realistic. It's not the cupcake Big 12. Now, that's an opinion I can go along with, Yeah, I'm not debate somebody, but I'm not going to get mad and pissed off and stop playing with everybody and take my ball and go home kind of shit. Michael's in the house. What's up? Thunder OU Sooner, who has almost perfect attendance. He only missed one live stream in the history of Outlaw Sports. We're going to have to send Thunder OU Sooner some merchandise or something for perfect attendance. Well, almost perfect attendance. Tebow had Bob Stoops, guys. Yeah, he did. But, I mean, Bob Stoops was sort of slipping, wasn't he? But anyway, Sheepdog getting a little explicit here, says, you mother bleeps have to play Oklahoma too. My God. What does that mean?
I'm assuming he's Alabama fans. That's the way I would take it.
He said we have to play Oklahoma. Like he's Oklahoma. Yeah, I know we have to play Oklahoma, but I'm not really getting what your point is. But anyway. I got 5 on it. Says the strong subs will hold down the faint of heart. I appreciate that, brother. It's good to know. We don't mind if y'all get on here and grill the hell out of us and talk bad about Alabama. Oh, yeah. Hey, I get that shit the whole time, man. Exactly. You don't see me rolling around crying and quitting.
And then to address this one, Lincoln was 55-10 at OU. Looks great. He didn't just go 55-10. He won 4 straight Big 12 championships out of 5 years he was there.
Was it
See,
3? Was it 3 or 4?
It was 4. Okay. So the only time he didn't win the Big 12 was his last season, right? So, I mean, I don't get how that's not talked about. Like, that's what I'm saying. I get why you don't like Lincoln Riley, because he left dirtily. The way he did you guys was very disappointing. I understand that. But my God. Oh, yeah, Bagman's in here. Here's my fingernails, by the way. Facts are hard to argue. And I'm just pointing out facts. I don't know what to tell you. And from that circumstance, man.
King League says just drama. King League says it's just drama, and that's all. Let's get back to football. I'm always about football 24/7. Sheepdog backs up his comment with, you act like everyone in the Big 12 is Vanderbilt. That's not what I said. I said Vanderbilt, who is the drag, and even our mid-carders like South Carolina. Who else would you consider a mid-carder?
Kentucky.
Kentucky. Teams like that, South Carolina, Kentucky, who are the mid-carders, and even Vanderbilt, who's our drag, will talk smack to you throughout the week until you beat them. Yeah. And if you don't beat them, you're going to get 2 weeks of it, plus the team you're playing that week. So my advice is just win, baby.
Yeah, we're not saying you can't. He's just saying just make sure you win, because when you don't, my God, you'll hear about it for a year, because we all do. This is not specifically to one team, by the way. Texas is going to feel the same thing. It's just Texas so happened to, I guess by the roll of the dice, get a way easier schedule than everybody else.
Richard Burton's in the house. He has his badge. He's deputized. I'm not going away outlaw. Good. Seems like the posse's still intact. I ain't lost any badge members because, usually the badge ones are the ones that got thick skin and got a real spine.
And answer your question, Thunder. No, I mean, it's pretty much been the same across the board to me. I feel like there's always been Oklahoma, right? And then there's someone to contend with Oklahoma, whether it be Texas, whether it be Baylor, TCU, whatever it may be for that year, Okie State, whoever, right? So, because there was that 1 year Okie State went, 10-2, something like that?
Yeah, they get a few once in a while.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, but for the most part, Oklahoma's been the standard of the Big 12 for a while now, right? I think we all can agree to that. So, once again, I don't know where the arguments, I don't know where the hate is coming from by me saying that Lincoln Riley deserves a little bit of credit for winning what he did at Oklahoma.
Well, some people just can't take criticism. They want Mary Poppins, rosebuds coming out your ass kind of shit all the time. If you take a shit, they want you to tell it smells like roses. But
sometimes you got to take the bad with the good and the good with the bad. And the way to look at it as an Oklahoma fan, you might want to thank Lincoln Riley for having BV, because if it wasn't for Lincoln Riley, you wouldn't have Brent Venables.
Right. If y'all don't mind, jump out of the chat, smash the like button. It helps push the algorithm a little bit. Also, if you want your comment read out above the others, we can't see all the comments coming here. We got over 80 people in here already. Just click on the money dollar sign at the bottom. What'd you say?
No, I was talking to Bagman. I was just messing with you, Jonathan. I said, oh, no, I know. He was on Ty's show. I was just on the live. He's like, show me your fingers. And he wouldn't catch the clue. And I kept drinking like, here's my fingernails.
Y'all click on that money dollar sign at the bottom, write out your comment, then hit send, or it won't put your comment up. It'll highlight it and push it to the top, and we'll read it out for a small donation to the program. And Jonathan went and bought him some nail polish remover.
No,
and so that's why his fingernails. That's why they're not painted today, because he's got a Mary Caleb Williams fingernails poster.
No. You guys can't keep doing this, dude. You guys gave me. Would you give me IBS, neck beard? Oprah, like, okay, this can't just continue on.
We got you Whoopi Goldberg.
No, like, this is ridiculous.
He's got a poster of Mary Caleb Williams in his room on his ceiling over his bed.
But I do understand why Oklahoma fans are mad at Lincoln Riley. That I'll never question that at all. He did do them dirty, in my opinion. So, but. And I think they're going to do pretty good this year in the SEC. So I don't know what else you want.
Yeah, just please beat Tennessee. Please beat Tennessee, man. If y'all don't beat Tennessee, man, we're going to hear it.
It's true. It's true.
And then you play Auburn too, man. Y'all get the two that we hate the most back to back.
Literally.
So y'all
Third
can't,
Saturday in
y'all
October.
can't lose to them either, man. And then y'all got to play Texas. Can't lose to them either, man. And when y'all play Alabama, y'all can go ahead and lose. Y'all want to lose to Alabama, it's not going to break my heart.
No, mine neither. I wouldn't even mind attending that game.
Seems like Deion, switching gears a little bit, seems like con time. You actually alerted me this last week, and it just keeps building, man. It keeps rolling. People are coming out of the woodwork just grilling the hell out of con time Deion Sanders, man. What's the deal here, man? What's going on? I know he did a press conference where he basically refused to answer questions of certain people unless they placated to him. You know, what's your take on this? I got a few links I could bring up here in just a second. I just want to get your take on what you know.
So Deion, he's okay. I don't know how to put this because you know how I feel about Deion. There's two sides to every coin. I look at Deion as a cartoon character at this point. And I'm trying to be fair with it, right? So, and what I'm talking about is that he changes gears and plays a different role very quickly, right? So 1 minute he's being extremely nice to the media, right? And then the next he's talking about, I'm not going to answer your questions because you're related, because you work for CBS or ABC, whoever it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
I forgot
you don't like CBS?
I guess he doesn't like CBS or they did something to him. So he refused to answer the reporter's question. Now, to be fair, like I said, it's like a cartoon character type thing. To be fair, they didn't show the whole clip where Deion does tell the guy, I like you as a reporter. I love you as a reporter, but because you work for CBS, I'm not answering. So you can take that and spin it either way, right? So you look kind of dirty by not just refusing to answer a question because he works for CBS. And then now you're getting called out by, what's his name? Charleston White.
That's right.
Charleston White calls him out saying that you're only a coach and you're doing nothing for our culture and our community. Deion is, you know me. I love statistics, man. I love facts. I want to see it in my face. I want to see the results. So he did win 3 more games than 1 year prior. But the argument for the other side of that sake is this. You were last in the Pac-12 before that, right? And then when Deion was there, you still finished last. So you didn't improve because the 3 other games you won were all non-conference. They weren't part of that conference, right? So that's my take on it is, for me to give anybody credit, and this is across the board to anybody, including Brent Venables or whoever, even Kalen DeBoer, you got to win. You got to show me what you're doing with it. And right now, the trajectory, I think most would agree with, is trending down for Colorado right now. You're going into a tougher conference, and then you're causing more commotion by what you're saying. And now you're starting to see people saying this could be Deion's last year at Colorado or next year as soon as his son leaves, because he may not want to be around for any of this stuff. So I don't know what to take from it other than it's just like a cartoon show at this point.
I want to play a quick snippet of that Charleston White stuff. I'm sort of taking a risk here.
Yeah, it's some vulgar language in this.
So if you're insulted by the N-word or cuss words, you might want to just put some earmuffs on. Can you see this?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right.
Deion coach football. I address killers. I say fuck King Von, Nipsey, Rolling 60. And if you killed in my community, I'm going to say you did it, nigga. You don't get to ride around here and holler no snitching. Who did that killing? I'm the nigga come out and say they shot that baby.
Pause it because it's about to get bad.
And you bitch ass nigga better turn y'all self in, nigga. And we ready to go to war.
So essentially, what Charleston White's addressing is that Deion's not supporting any of the culture. He's only being a coach, and he's basically saying he's too afraid to say what needs to be said for the culture, right? We all know what he's talking about. So I mean, that's not for me to address. I mean, that he's calling plenty of people have called Deion out for this. This is not the first time this is being done.
Exactly.
So I don't know what else you'd want me to say on that or give any more of a take on that than that. I mean, Charleston White pretty much sums up the way they feel about it. So I don't know, I mean, and then the way Deion treated the reporter, if you want to look negatively on that as well. And now, yeah. So this whole Jason Whitlock thing, I don't know anything about.
Yeah, Jason Whitlock called him out. Basically saying here, Deion recently stirred controversy after publicly calling out Denver's posters Sean Keeler for what he perceived as constant hit pieces. He also refused to answer questions from CBS Colorado's Eric Christensen simply because he represented the iconic network. While Sanders' actions were met with mostly negative feedback, it was Jason Whitlock's explosive rant on his show that garnered the most attention. So he launched a scathing attack on Deion Sanders. What's going on down here? Whitlock went on to make several pointed remarks, including saying Sanders was softer than baby poop and that his behavior was more akin to that of a 10-year-old girl than a seasoned football coach. Whitlock's critique extended beyond Sanders' handling of the press to his overall leadership, which Whitlock deemed as malpractice. This incident only intensified the perception of Sanders and Colorado as the villains of college football. And while he goes on to say that might be, Colorado might like that attention, it might come with some huge blowback when they start losing games, basically.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. So if you're a college football fan from the outside looking in at Deion and this Colorado team in general from, we'll say, an unbiased point of view, and sometimes it's hard because I know Deion's past. The one thing I remember from Deion's past, which I told JPC about, is like, that will always stick with me was him pouring that water on top of the reporter when he played baseball. That was one of the most.
That's a red flag right there that shows you right now he's doing the same shit. He's just not pouring water on.
Yeah, so that's a character problem to me. Now, do you grow up and can you mature? Yeah, maybe. But
he didn't.
But that's my biased point of view because that's what I remember about Deion, right? So he may be a saint for the rest of his life, but when you have something ingrained in your memory like that, it's going to be kind of biased. And that's why a lot of people have biased points of views because you grew up watching Deion from that perspective of you saw the whole thing where I barely remember him in that stage of life. But the one thing I do remember is that happening. So, yeah.
You see that?
National analyst calls, and they are saying this stuff.
And this is from Glory, Colorado now. So it ain't like they're biased. They're basically talking about Mike Farrell's take on it here. Mike Farrell believes that Deion Sanders should step down from being head coach with the Colorado football program and leave the sport altogether. Deion is clearly not cut out to be a college football coach as he cuts corners, takes things personally, and can't hide his favoritism for his sons.
Yeah.
And Deion knows football, but he's not a hard worker, and he cuts corners. So far, his players have stayed out of trouble, and the grades are all right, but he hasn't won as his Big 8 record or Big 12 record. Not Big 12, it's Pac-12, right? 4-8 states. Colorado went from last place in the Pac-12 in the season he arrived to last place in the Pac-12 again. What you told you.
Yeah.
Maybe that's understandable for an iconic man who's attacked by so many, but maybe also he should get out of college football if he doesn't like the heat, because you're going to take the heat, man, especially as a head coach.
Sounds kind of like my video.
I know, right? Coach Prime isn't the first to call out the media and won't be the last. Does anyone remember Nick Saban? He's repeated blah, 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 blah. I don't know what that's all about. One wonders if the narrative changes with a successful 2024 season, but some think Coach Prime may up and leave after the season for another job, and then there's the USC rumors for what it's worth. So seems like everybody's going after him now, from Mike Farrell to Jason Whitlock to Charleston White. I mean, Charleston White is mostly political, like he was telling me. So for Charleston White to take the time to go after someone in the sports arena, you have done something to piss off the masses a little bit.
Well, the reason why is because Cam Newton is a huge Deion supporter, and he went on Cam Newton's podcast. And Charleston White does not back down from anything. So if you make some illegitimate comment on your podcast and he hears it and he comes on your podcast, he will address it immediately. That's what he does. So that's kind of how that stemmed into what it was. And Ian Hentz here. So says, I think Deion Sanders is clearly good enough to be a college football coach at Colorado Buffaloes. I think the Colorado Buffaloes will have a hard time finding a coach. But the thing about it is, I mean, this is every program out there. I mean, outside of if you consider blue bloods, right? But you have to go through the cycle like everybody does. Look at TCU. You know what I mean? Like these guys, look at SMU. Like their coach went across the street, right? So like yes, it's hard to find great coaches because great coaches aren't everywhere, but you still got to know what you're bringing into the arena. And I don't blame Colorado for bringing in Deion, by the way, because you knew the amount of money and attractiveness and the marketing that Deion was going to bring to Colorado was going to be humongous.
Yeah, man, but there's some of the stuff he just can't do, man.
But yeah, no, and I agree. That's what I'm saying. There's two sides of that coin. Now, anything above Buffalo right now, absolutely not, because to me, he hasn't proven enough at Buffalo that you should be going for a job higher up than Buffalo, in my opinion.
Ian Hintz follows that up with they're just after Deion Sanders because he wears a cross around his neck. So that cross doesn't fit the pedophilia crowd there in Colorado. That is Ian Thomas Hintz's opinion. Well, I have to disagree with you because I don't think it has anything to do with the cross. Jason Whitlock, who called him out, by the way, is a minority too, so let's not try to play the race card in this. Jason Whitlock is pretty much a Christian man. He's all about the conservative views. If you've ever watched Jason Whitlock, you know he's mostly conservative and Christian, right? So I don't think it has anything to do with the cross. As to why Jason's calling him out. I'm calling him out, and I'm not a pedophile, and I believe there's a God, and I'm somewhat conservative. So, I mean, it ain't just the pedophilia crowd, as you said. It's a lot more people than that, Ian.
Yeah. I don't even know how to even respond to that. So. And
right here, he's blaming. I guess you're blaming Colorado. A great hire in Colorado. But the more I find out about Colorado, I can't read tonight. Lead me to wonder if they'll ever have a great coach. It's not Colorado's fault. How is it Colorado's fault?
That one you're gonna have to elaborate because Deion talked to how extensively he did his homework at Colorado. So how are you gonna blame the man that said he spent so much time with Colorado before taking that hire?
He's a con man.
At that point, you have to blame Deion himself.
All Deion Sanders is he's a con man with athletic ability that got him where he was at. He had great athletic ability, and it masked a lot of character flaws, as Jonathan pointed out, for him. Well, now he don't have that athletic ability to back him up, and his coaching ability pretty much sucks. You know, he won at the HBCU level because he was able to parlay his fame at that level into getting a few 4 and 5 stars and having a distinct advantage over those other programs who could only get 1 and 2 stars. So it was easier for him to succeed there. Now he's at a higher level, and everybody's getting those 4 and 5 stars, and Deion can't get them. All he's doing good at is going to transfer portal. Well, I think he's like, 67th or 68th in recruiting or something?
It's something like so the problem I have with Deion, this is the only, besides the whole water bottle thing, the problem I have was what he just said a couple weeks ago. So him and I can't remember if it was his offense coordinator, defense coordinator, but I know Deion was the one to make the comment was about the 4 and 5 stars. He got interviewed. His name was, what was his name? I told you, Flea. They call him Flea. So Flea went on an interview, and what happened was like, what's up with the 4 and 5 stars now? What Flea said was, well, we've learned over the course of time that we can't worry about 4 and 5 stars. We can't worry about the stars, but much rather we have to worry about the kids that we bring into the program. The reason why he said that is because you just lost 2 5 stars to the portal. We already know that. And the fact that if you look at their track record in recruiting now, you're not getting them, and you're not even coming close to them. So all that was an excuse to push off what's going on, and I can't agree with that, man. Like, you literally open-handedly just gave an excuse on why you can't get these guys, and you're blaming the kids? Because what he said was, we want guys to do more than just football. What? No, you don't. Because Travis Hunter, what was he after? You know what I mean? Like, Cormani McLean, what was he after? You can't sit there and talk about, because he basically said 4 and 5 stars. They only want football. There's nothing else they're going to want. And to me, that's wild to say that we don't want them because they just want football. What kind of messaging are you sending out to everybody now? And that's why I don't agree with what Deion's doing, because the messaging does not match what you're doing. And then every time somebody can deflect something or prove something, it's always an excuse put in place of, well, the reason why we don't get them is because we don't want them, because they're not good for our program. What?
And also,
how are you going to compete?
You know, Ian brought up him wearing a cross and whatnot. There's a lot of people wear crosses. There's a lot of people that hide behind religion, in my opinion. I think Deion's one of those guys. But that's my opinion. He may be a great Christian guy.
I don't know.
But just as my opinion, from what I've seen, his mannerisms and the way he acts and the way he brags on his Louis and his possessions, that don't come across as what he's trying to say. Like Jonathan says, it doesn't match up what he's saying and what he's doing. Talking out of both sides of his mouth on all sorts of topics, everything. It's just everything. It ain't just football. It's religion, everything. He's in practice saying GD this and GD that. And I'm not a perfect guy. And I cuss too, but I believe there's a God. But I just think he uses religion to sort of give himself sort of a pat on the back kind of deal.
I don't know. There's a reason why I don't talk religion and politics, because I just don't know. So, I mean, I prefer not to ever talk about it. I'm illiterate when it comes to politics, guys. I don't know much about it. So I'm not going to speak on something that I just have no idea about. And then religion is always very touchy. It's a very touchy subject.
Yeah, it gets a lot of people pissed off.
I
try to avoid it myself. Sometimes I can't help myself. But Benjamin Sisko's in the house, your favorite name from Star Trek. Con time, Deion Sanders is going to be the head coach of Killer Breeze's favorite team, the Nagasaki Egg Rolls of the Japanese American Football League. Him and old Tebow going to be on there. They're going to be like, Tebow's going to be the punting coordinator and Deion's going to be the water boy. Con time is like Jerry Jones is to Dallas. He fills the seats, but they will never go to the big dance.
And the thing about it is you never know what you're going to get. So, I mean, even Ian Hintz here says, I'm going to bet both you guys that Deion Sanders went to Florida State here to get twice the recruiting. You probably win twice as many games.
Doubtful. He don't want to recruit.
Mike Norvell, you could make the argument he should have just went to the playoffs. Like, you know what I mean? But you don't see the circus surrounding Mike Norvell. But once again, could be right. Maybe Deion goes there and all the 5-stars flood there. But look at why Florida State didn't bring him in. That's all I'm going to say. Research why Florida State didn't hire him.
Bagman says that the pedo crowd is actually Cal and Stanford. You're right about that.
Once again, I don't know. Let's see here. Cal Glover. Oklahoma has 6 opponents higher than them on the AP Top 25, but the over-under is 7.5 wins. I like Oklahoma. I like Oklahoma at 9-3. 9-3 is my sweet spot for them. That's what I've kind of settled down on for Oklahoma.
Killer Breeze said that Con Time is not worthy of the Nagasaki Egg Rolls. He's more of a Tokyo Tech crab puff kind of guy.
Tokyo Tech crab puff. I like the Tokyo Tech. That's
right, boy. Just
comes off the tongue very nicely, and technology Tokyo makes sense. But yeah.
Bagman said he'd rather take Jimbo out of retirement than Lincoln Riley or Con Time. I'd take Jimbo over those two too.
No, I don't like Jimbo. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not a big fan of
if I had
all three.
Between them three, I would pick Jimbo Fisher hands down. Wouldn't be no doubt about it for me.
He did win a national championship, so I will. Yeah, I would too, I guess.
So Contine's going to replace Sunbelt Billy.
Look, it's not fair. Billy Napier is not given a fair hand.
I knew you'd like that. Jonathan likes Billy Napier.
I do like Billy Napier, but he's not that. He hasn't done a lot, guys. I'm not saying that. You guys know Florida's schedule, right? Do you know what their schedule is? Are you ready for this?
It's pretty epic. Larry Trowicki says, "Go North Dakota State, go Bison. Ain't no pushover. And Deion was mad about that, by the way. He was mad at his athletic director for scheduling that game. Because if you're going to schedule an FCS school, don't schedule any of them Dakota schools.
No, definitely not.
The Jackrabbits or the Bison.
So, are you ready for the last 5 games of Florida's schedule? This is the last 5 games in a row. Georgia at Texas, LSU, Ole Miss at Florida State. Billy Napier's probably not making a bowl game, guys. He starts off the year versus Miami, plays Stanford, then plays Texas A&M at Mississippi State, UCF at Tennessee. They're definitely not going to a bowl game, actually. But those last 5 games, they have, I think, the hardest schedule in the nation. All 5 of those last teams they're ranked.
It's like one of those memed up schedules that you see on the internet where they're playing the New England Patriots and the Steelers twice.
Yeah. Like, who put that into place? Georgia's ranked 1, Texas 4, LSU 13, Ole Miss 6, Florida State 10th. And then Miami's 19th, Texas A&M's 20th, Tennessee's 15th. So they play what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They play 8 top 25 teams. 8. Damn.
Mars Jam says he's going to give you a hard time, Jonathan. You sell out. You over there saddling up with the marshmallow.
Oh, yeah.
He was on Ty's program and the damn marshmallow popped up in there.
That's funny. Who are you referring to when you say marshmallow? Like,
Jason Watkins. You know who I'm talking about.
I didn't know that's who you were talking about. Like, really?
Me and Killer Bree's been calling him Marshmallow. Actually, Killer Bree started that shit. I can't take credit for that. He's the one that started calling him Marshmallow. And they've made a meme of him with that with his face on that marshmallow from Ghostbusters.
Oh, I don't know. That's something between you men. So
Don't be like that now. You got to pick a side.
Like I said, man, don't even get me started on this. Don't even get me started. Anyways.
You got in trouble yesterday. You better watch it. I even got a message from one of them told me to fire your ass.
Okay. What?
Go Vince McMahon.
So Zach Hatchley on here. What's going on, Zach? Says Billy Boy is gone. But Billy Napier should not Billy Napier should not be fired for the next 2 seasons. He gets a hall pass. Sorry, guys. Nobody gets that 2 years in a row of a schedule and has to win games. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. Alabama couldn't do it. Georgia couldn't do it. Don't care which team is. They're not getting out of that unscathed. Michael Fasusi to Oklahoma. No, I thought it was August 21st. Not 28th. Oh, God. Will you stop that crap? My God. Jesus. I thought his recruitment his commit was the 21st.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's
You see where Hugh Freeze pulled a Mark Richt 4 times over?
Hugh Freeze pulled a Mark Richt 4 times over? What do you mean?
Remember when Mark Richt and Georgia lost to us on that last drive? They run out of time.
Oh, yeah, in the SEC championship game, right?
And his quote after the game was, "We run out of time."
I remember that stupid shit. Yeah, I remember that.
We all run out of time, Mark, when we lose ball games. You want everybody to get an extra 5 minutes?
Like, I don't understand how what do you expect to happen?
Hugh Freeze sort of says something similar to that, but 4 times over. You want to see that?
Let's see it.
Let me bring it up while you
So, yeah, Mars Jam says, yeah, I'm right. It's the 21st. Yeah. That's what I thought. It's sooner rather than later. See, I stunk. All receiver likes on 4th and 31. Says he should have 4 wins versus what?
Yep. So they should have beat Nick Saban 4 times. Well, guess what? Nick could say the same thing, Hugh. We could say we should have beat you 4 times, right?
Yeah. Well, what?
Auburn head coach Hugh Freeze hasn't forgot what it felt like to lose to Saban. Not winning that game sucked, Freeze said. Oh, no shit. It stunk. It was disappointing. It was hard. Says, Nick is incredible, but I should have 4 wins against him.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Like, does he not? I don't understand how these guys think in that manner of like. Of course, Nick Saban's gone. He's going to say this.
Yeah. faced with improbable 4th and goal from the 31-yard line, Alabama quarterback heaved touchdown pass. We all know what happened. We've got to coach better. If you're not accountable through the week on little things, it'll show up on 3rd and 4th down. I guess he's trying to basically blame himself at this point. I guess trying to walk it back a little bit.
So because Nick Saban did the little things better, that makes him a better coach as well. He beat you. Okay, that makes sense. So he should have beat you 4 times.
But Hugh Freeze believes he should have 4 wins over the former coach. Honestly, Nick is incredible, but I should have 4 wins against him. We beat them twice when I was at Ole Miss. Then we had them down 24-3 in the 3rd year, and I wasn't smart enough to slow it down. So basically, because we come back and won that game, we didn't deserve to win that game. I'm not following you here, man. What's up with this shit?
So he sounds kind of lost in his own words.
A game that saw Saban's top-ranked Crimson Tide climb its way back out of a 3-touchdown deficit to win the game 48-43. But what he doesn't tell everybody is that last touchdown was a garbage touchdown. We was up by double digits. Not only did we come back and take the lead, but we went up by double digits on them.
I don't know. I don't like players, much less coaches, saying this type of stuff, talking about we should have won. Man,
and
if anybody could walk
every single game out there, every game
exactly
that's at least within 2 scores, not just 1 score, any game within 2 scores, there's plays here and there that could have flipped it.
Yep. Oh, if the quarterback didn't overthrow the wide open receiver for a touchdown.
Quit with the damn excuses. I know that Hail Mary's still sticking in his craw, boy. But that's paybacks for that damn kick six that y'all been talking about for fucking 10 years, man.
Yep, they bring it up every single time.
Ironically enough, the Hail Mary was on the anniversary.
Yep.
The 10th year anniversary of the kick six. So what do you got to say to Hugh, man? I mean, what's the deal with Hugh?
I already said it. You can't walk things back, man. If we could all see the future, we'd all be a little bit richer, right? I'd hit the lotto at least once or twice.
Joe Mars Jam said Michael Fusasi going to Oklahoma. Got the troll face out for you. I think he's just messing with you.
He is.
He got me going there today. I didn't catch on until I done made the comment. I said, oh, shit, he was trolling me. It just doesn't show you anybody can be got.
Oh, yeah. So is the SEC going to ban the Sooners Roughnecks from bringing their guns this year?
Oh, hell, we'll probably give you a couple of extra ones.
I was about to say, we'll probably be traveling with guns to Norman.
I'm waiting for the basketball comment where we had a player with a gun supposedly give a gun to somebody to shoot somebody on the street.
Yeah. Trust me, they'll be informed. All SEC teams, trust me, they'll pile in to help just as much as they go against you. So,
well, I mean, y'all can bring the guns if you want, but Mississippi State, they bring cowbells every year and they lose every year. So bring whatever weapon you want. Just don't shoot us for real. Don't be like Tennessee fans and throw mustard bottles and golf balls.
That'd have been an interesting game if it was in the lineup. Would be Mississippi State versus Oklahoma. Jeff Lebby, the previous offensive coordinator, versus Brent Venables. I mean, obviously, I think Mississippi State has no chance. Sweet.
Mississippi State versus Oklahoma.
But I think the storyline's great.
Let me ask the Oklahoma fans now. If Mississippi State had played Oklahoma this year and they beat Oklahoma, would y'all be calling for Brent Venables' head?
That's far-fetched, but yeah. So you're saying just if they beat them.
Right. Probably the game would have to be in Starksville for it to happen. But
you'd have to have a lot of scenarios happen. A lot.
But if it happened, and it can happen because Mississippi State's been known to pull an upset or two.
They have been.
I mean, they win 2 or 3 games every year in the SEC somewhere.
They were ranked number 1 in the country. Just 6 years ago?
Maybe a little further back. They had Dak Prescott.
Oh, that was when they had Dak, wasn't it? Damn, that was a long time ago.
Yes, we knocked them off number 1.
Alabama, we knocked Ole Miss and Mississippi State both off the number 1 pedestal.
Know your role. Get your ass back over there in that shit-style state. Know your role.
Yeah, we knocked both the Mississippi State teams off the number 1, or Mississippi teams off the number 1 pedestal.
You got any topics you want to add, Jonathan? Because I might bring up the Kyle Whittingham thing. You said you might have to get off here though before I started on that.
Yeah, I got to go help some people. Let's see here. Let me go see if there's any storylines. I don't think there's very much out there. Recruiting's pretty much kind of slowed down for the most part.
If you don't mind, help out, smash the like button. Helps push the algorithm. Also, if you want us to read your comment out, there's $1 million sign at the bottom. Click on that. Write your comment out. Click it. Send it. It'll highlight it and push it to the top, and we'll read it out above the rest. Make a little small donation to the program.
I will say this: Texas losing C.J. Baxter for the year, their number one running back. That's going to be massive. That's going to hurt.
Who?
Texas. C.J. Baxter.
Who lost him?
Texas. He got hurt. So during fall practice, so they lost him for the year, and then right after that, Reuben Owens for Texas A&M. He's out for the season as well. He's their number one running back as well. Coincidentally, both those guys were the number one running backs coming out of high school in back-to-back years as well. So, unfortunately, Texas A&M is going to take a massive hit to any chance they had of going 8-4 this year. And then Texas, it probably won't hurt as bad, but it's still a blow to them, no matter which way you put it. But yeah, I'm going to have to get off here, man. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for everybody getting on here that didn't unsubscribe and have.
Look, I got 5 says don't leave now.
I unfortunately right now I gotta go. So
I'm gonna stay.
But yeah, Cowboys down here.
That's right.
The not intelligent one.
That's right.
Oh my God, some of those comments.
Get that marshmallow wiener out of your mouth.
But anyways, no, all right. I'm glad you guys got in here, left comments, all that good stuff. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the hate. It's all fun.
What was you knocking off your face? That's some that white stuff.
My neck beard. It's my neck beard.
Some white stuff on your face there.
Anyways, it's just opinions, guys. That's all it is. Don't take it personal. Trust me.
He still loves y'all.
Yeah, otherwise it's going to get real personal this year with other fans when it comes to Tennessee, Auburn, like we've said. And trust me, it's going to get bad. Otherwise, other than that, have a good day. And as always, I'll say myself, neckbeard out.
And that was Jonathan Lewis, formerly of Neckbeard Sports, now my tag team partner. That I guess he was in like a handicap match yesterday. y'all there trying to waterboard poor old Jonathan, man. Damn. Y'all ruthless up in this bitch. Damn, man. Why y'all trying to waterboard poor old Jonathan like that? But I got some y'all had him going pretty good though. I ain't gonna lie to you. He was pretty pissed off, man. The way y'all were grilling him yesterday. But hey, it happens, right? Let's see who else has jumped up in the house. Ian Hintz is still up in here. He says, I'm coming to the realization that only winning 8 games once every 3 or 4 seasons, especially now in the SEC, is more along the acceptable lines of reality. I think once Oklahoma's been in here a few years, that they'll ascend to the top because the cream always rises to the top, right? And they are the crimson and cream. It's like Alabama's the crimson and white. I fully expect the 2 crimson nations to be dominating down the road. Everybody thinks it's going to be Georgia. Georgia's had a lot of off the field issues, and a lot of stuff has been percolating. You see smoke a lot. You know, even at Alabama and Oklahoma, you have situations where players get in trouble. But this seems like it's been at an astronomical rate with Georgia. And I just have a gut feeling that maybe Georgia is not going to be the long-term dynasty that people think it's going to be. I think it's going to be more along the lines of 3 teams. My team, Alabama, Oklahoma, and I know y'all going to hate to hear this, but the Texas Longhorns, I think, can ascend up at least into the top 5 or 6 of this conference. This top 5 or 6 in the conference may not sound like a big deal. Back in the day, it wasn't because you only had 10 to 12 teams. But now we got 16 teams in the league, and we're probably going to end up having about 20, maybe even 24, 5 years down the road. So finishing in the top 5 or 6 in the SEC is absolutely an accomplishment, even for Alabama in the future. Just give me Neckbeard's address and I'll forgive you, said David Orwig. That's the thing, man. He moves so much, man. He's like the 007 of San Antonio. I don't even know where he's at, man. He's like parts unknown. He's like that wrestler that, comes out, man. It's like parts unknown. He just comes down there and he riles the crowd up and gives them the old Ric Flair low blow, and then he hightails it out of the arena. That's Jonathan Lewis, man. Everybody thinks I'm the shit talker. I'm the one that instigates a lot of shit. This guy's like the puppet master behind the scenes. I ain't gonna lie to you. He's real sneaky. You gotta watch that Jonathan Lewis. Richard Burton says November 23rd. Yep, November 23rd. That's the date of the Alabama-Oklahoma game, right? Sure would like to be there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford it, but it's good to wish, at least for now. Until the game happens without me, I would sure like to be there with you and celebrate with y'all either way. If Alabama wins, great for me. If Oklahoma wins, great for y'all. But that day, one or two Crimson Nations is going to win. Crimson will win that day, Richard Burton. That's a hypothetical, Mr. Outlaw. Yes, it is, Lance. So give me your hypothetical, Lance. In the future, 5 years from now, 5 to 7 years from now, who's going to be the top 3 to 4 programs in the SEC? Those people are obviously going to say Georgia and Alabama, right? And then I think it'll differ. I think you'll have some say Oklahoma and Texas, maybe Tennessee ascends back up to where they used to be. Florida ever gets a decent schedule, maybe Florida. LSU is off again, on again. You never know what you're going to get with LSU. And then, of course, down the road, we may add some more teams to the conference. So we don't know. We may be adding Florida State and Clemson one day. But somebody's got to lose. And that's why I'm a big proponent of not adding any more football powers. We got enough football powers. Let's go out and expand our portfolio as a conference. And let's get some basketball schools like North Carolina. Virginia's a decent basketball program. Kansas is a great blue blood basketball program. I wouldn't mind having Kansas as a basketball school if that's what we're going for. But anyway, here's Kyle Whittingham. There's a major realignment coming, and it'll be a big one, says Kyle Whittingham. With conference realignment always in the background of college football, Utah's head coach Kyle Whittingham was the latest to comment on the never-ending drama, but he's not the latest because he's been saying this for a while. He said even when they joined the Big 12 from the Pac-12 that he would not be surprised if Utah ended up being in the Big 10 one day. Now, whether that's just wishful thinking by Kyle, I don't know. He says, I think there's major realignment coming, and it's going to be a big one, says Whittingham. I think it'll create even more of a divide and exclusivity. I can't even speak today. For the teams that are on the right side of that line, I'd say 20 months to 4 years. It's a large gap of time there, Kyle. How about that time frame? In my opinion, it's going to look very much like the NFL minor league. Whittingham's references the idea of a super conference consisting of countless teams with leagues across the country continuing to expand, and the writing on the wall appears to be that college football is heading down that path soon. He said he sees an expansion of the playoff from 12 to 16 teams. I think it's going to boil down to 40 to 60 teams in 2 super conferences. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't play anybody but super conference teams. Make that a division as far as who you play. Like I said, a full-blown playoff. So, looks like Kyle thinks we're going to expand the playoffs to 16, which I agree with him. I'm not a big fan of that, though. I really don't like going to 16. I think it rewards teams with 3 and 4 losses that don't deserve to be rewarded. Now the rumors are beginning that the ACC could be the next major conference to be in trouble given the challenges the conference is facing from Clemson and Florida State. So, yeah, the ACC looks like it's probably going to be the next conference to bite the dust. What do y'all think about that? Mars Jam's giving us a roll call of national championships. Bama has 18, Tennessee 7, Tennessee 6, Oklahoma 7, Georgia 4, and LSU 4. Actually, I think Georgia's only got 3, and LSU does have 4. Tennessee, I'm not sure about theirs. Oklahoma, yeah, they got 7, but Georgia only has 3, unless they claim some or one that I'm not aware of. You know, like Oklahoma State went retro. The Okey Pokey Chokey State can't win one on the field, so they go retro and get in the DeLorean with Marty and Doc from Back to the Future and go back to 1942 and claim a national championship, did Okey Pokey State. I know some of the Oklahoma fans don't like me making fun of Oklahoma State in here, but I'm just trying to prepare y'all for what we do here in the SEC. If you're an interstate rival, you'd be grilling the hell out of each other. Y'all, unless Oklahoma State losing or winning directly benefits Oklahoma, I would not never root for Oklahoma State if I was an Oklahoma fan. Just like Auburn. If Auburn winning or losing benefits Alabama, I'll root for Auburn. But if it's not going to benefit my team, I'm never rooting for Auburn, and I'm never rooting for Tennessee. Ian Hint says, here's a great question. If you were to take the top 6 SEC teams and put them in a different conference, in your opinion, do you think they would have a great shot at winning any other conferences? Yes. I would actually say probably the top 10 in the SEC would be in the top 4 of any conference. Maybe even 12, because there's 16 of us now. And now with the addition of Oklahoma and Texas, and I've said this numerous times, the SEC has 8 former national champions in the conference. And I'm not just talking over 130 years. I'm talking about since the advent of the BCS in 1998, which is what, about 25 years? The last 25 years, with the addition of Oklahoma and Texas, the SEC has 8 teams that have won national championships in football. So I won't ever hear Big 10 people and Big 12 people talking about their parity. Yeah, Big 12, y'all got mid-card parity now. Now that you don't have Oklahoma and Texas, maybe y'all have a chance to win a damn conference title more than just once, ever so often. Of course, you're going to have a Baylor or TCU pop up every now and then, but for the most part, that conference belonged to Oklahoma and then maybe Texas as the Robin. Texas is Robin to Batman when it comes to Oklahoma. Now, right now, Texas got a slight advantage on them somewhat as far as perception of talent. But overall in history, we all know that Oklahoma is Batman and they're Robin. They may not be Robin. They might be like the Riddler or whatever that jackass is called. Ian Hint says, I think all that is great that they talked about conference realignment until somebody like Nick Saban wants to go coach somewhere like Fresno State or Georgia Tech. Nick Saban will not coach anywhere else, in my opinion. He's too old, 72 years old. It's too late for him to start over. Would it be fair for Nick Saban, for example, to go to Fresno State, who isn't a Power 5? Would it be fair to keep Nick Saban? Yeah, I don't see it happening, man. I don't see him ever coaching again. By the way, he's still employed by Alabama. We give him a salary of $500,000 to be a advisor, and we all know what that's about. Nick Saban's staying around and helping recruit, and he's getting paid to do it, big time. It doesn't matter who has the most championship. What matters is that it stays in the SEC from now on. I agree with that. I'll second that. Except Auburn and Tennessee, brother. I cannot root for Auburn and Tennessee to win that championship. I know that Oklahoma people don't have the hatred that I do for Tennessee and Auburn. Now, there are some Oklahoma fans who say they have a real disdain for Auburn. But a lot of people have a disdain for the Barn Monkeys. But Tennessee, man, I know that y'all probably got a soft spot for him because Josh Heupel is an alumnus of Oklahoma. But I can't root for Tennessee, man. Not unless it benefits Alabama. Now, if Tennessee winning and beating somebody puts Alabama in the SEC title game, for example, I would root for Tennessee at that point. Keelback first has his badge. He's deputized. He says, no Texas. No Texas. Now, if y'all want to get your comment read out, push to the top. I can't see everybody's comments. There's over 100 people in here now. There's a little $1 million sign at the bottom. Click on that. Write your comment out. It'll push it to the top and highlight it for a small donation. And I'll read it out above the others. But what we've talked about so far was con time, Deion Sanders, and the fact that he's been called out by not just one or two people, but he's been called out by numerous people now as being a complete and utter failure as a head coach at Colorado. In their opinion, in the future, he can't even handle press conferences, basically. He refused to take questions from CBS because he don't like CBS, and there's another guy that he refused to take questions from because the guy criticized him. And like Jason Whitlock said, he comes across as someone that's just pooped his diaper. You know, someone that acts like a 10-year-old girl. He can't take any criticism. He doesn't recruit well. They're like in the bottom half of the 60s. I think they might be in the 70s now as far as recruiting goes. Only thing he's good at is going and getting a few players out of transfer portal. And all that is him taking players that people have already evaluated for him. He refuses to recruit, and he's not going to win at this level. He got away with that shit at the HBCU level, but he's not going to get away with it here, in my opinion. And the fact that he's continually playing daddy ball with his two kids, Sakazulu Sanders and the other one, doesn't bode well for him either. It shows favoritism to him. Which, you know, you're supposed to show a little favoritism to your kids. I understand that, but this is a little over the top with Deion. He's just a big old farce and he's a hypocrite. But that's basically what we talked about in the early part of the show. If you want to go back and watch it, when we get off of here, it'll upload as a podcast after we get off this live stream. We also talked about Oklahoma was a little upset with my partner Jonathan Lewis the other day because he was giving a devil's advocate point of view as far as Lincoln Riley. And what if Lincoln Riley had stayed at Oklahoma? I ask y'all that right now. Let's pretend none of this ever happened. You go back in time, there was people still supporting Lincoln Riley. When he was the head coach at Oklahoma, most of y'all still supporting him. If Lincoln Riley never leaves Oklahoma and he stays, and Mary Caleb Williams' fingernails stays, Marvin Mims, all those guys stay at Oklahoma. Or did Marvin Mims stay anyway? I think one of the wide receivers left and went with him. I can't remember who. Y'all can drop it in the comment section. But if all those people stay at Oklahoma, you know, he took those players and he went to USC and went 11-3. He was on the cusp of actually making the playoffs until he lost a couple late games. If Lincoln Riley had never went to USC and he had stayed at Oklahoma with that talent, do you think that maybe Lincoln Riley would have won a national championship? I got 5 on it. Says, OU will take care of Texas and Tennessee. We got you. Well, I hope y'all do, man. Because the two UTs, yeah, they can KMCA. In my opinion, Colorado is going to have a hard time getting recruits just for the simple reason that USC has had in the last 15 years. Colorado went too soft just like USC went too soft. Okay. Richard Burton says, good plan. Ian Hint says, all about the liberal bullshit. In my opinion, these kids are starting to wake up to all the BS at a younger level and starting to see it for what it is. Richard Burton says, we're better off without Lincoln Riley. Yeah, we can see that now. But I'm asking y'all, Richard, if he had stayed and we never knew any of this, let's be honest, y'all would probably still be supporting him because he's your coach. Of course you are. If he had stayed with Mary Caleb Williams' fingernails, the year that he won the Heisman Trophy with Mary Caleb Williams, would they have made the playoffs or even won the national championship? What do you think? If Lincoln Riley never leaves Oklahoma and he stays with Oklahoma, is Oklahoma and Lincoln Riley better off together than being divorced? That's my question. Would they have maybe not one national championship, but would they have made the playoffs again? I think they might have made the playoffs if they had stayed here at Oklahoma. And then you would have never known that Brent Venables was this budding superstar that I think he is. Killback first says I didn't like him. No national championship for sure because of no defense. Yeah, I sort of thought about that when I was talking about just now, and I walked it back a little bit, and I said, well, I think they would probably at least made the conference. They would probably made the conference championship game, probably won it, and got into the playoffs, in my opinion, because y'all pretty good at winning the Big 12. And like Jonathan said earlier, y'all won like 4 Big 12 titles under Lincoln Riley. But y'all got any more questions for me before I get up out of here? Just drop it down there. Little money dollar sign at the bottom. Click on that. Write your comment out. It'll push you to the top. Write your comment out first. Then hit the second click. It'll push you to the top. It'll highlight it for a small donation to the program. Help keep the lights on. And I'll read it out for y'all. I'll answer any more questions that y'all got because I've basically touched on everything that I wanted to touch on in this live stream so far. Ian Hint says, Tebow, by the way, if you're new to this channel, TBOW, the acronym, stands for, it's not Tim Tebow, let's not insult a great American. TBOW stands for the bitch out west, in reference to Linky Boy, a.k.a. Lincoln Riley. So if y'all don't have any more questions, I'm going to get up out of here. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Please share this channel out to all your friends. Football season is almost here. Got to get as many people as we can up here, get this party crunk. We're almost to 5,000 subscribers. That's a big milestone to YouTube, and it'll help me out extremely to get this program off the ground and make it big time. KMCA to all the other teams, class is now officially dismissed.